For my field trip, I went to the Florida Aquarium in Tampa. I jumped on the opportunity to go on a behind-the-scenes tour of the 500,000-gallon main tank, where we also got to feed a bait ball. During my tour, they made the mistake of letting me interview some of the marine biologists. The most significant concept that I took away from my interview was the importance of the primary producers in the Gulf of Mexico, like the mangroves and the turtle grass in the Gulf of Mexico. Thalassia testudinum, or turtle grass, is a primary producer using the sun's energy to form organic material. In this process, the seagrass utilizes and recycles nutrients both in the water column and the sediments. This serves as a buffer for non-point source pollution by filtering contaminants from the water and the sediment. The marine biologist explained to me that turtle grass is the most dominant seagrass in all of Florida. It creates a habitat for small fish. It's a food source when it dies and decomposes. It also nutrient cycles, and it provides protection against erosion. The biodiversity at the Florida Aquarium is amazing. From octopus to lookdowns, Atlantic and southern rays, they have a little bit of everything. The Florida Aquarium exhibits are broken down into different habitats. In one area, you may find shallow reef fish, and in another area, you'll find nocturnal exhibits. The nocturnal exhibits were probably one of my favorites. Watch carefully, you can see these beautiful little flashlight fish use their bioluminescence underneath their eyes to communicate to each other. The large tank is where they hold shows, not only to entertain but to educate the public. The aquarium also had habitats representing the freshwater ecosystems found in Florida. Even though I've lived in Florida and been around alligators my entire life, they still always impress me. The marine animal that stood out to me was the Atlantic horseshoe crab. Their blood detects bacteria. Cells in the blood of the horseshoe crab recognize the presence of bacteria. Researchers in the 1950s found that the cells act as a primitive immune system. By swarming and coagulating and forming this viscous gel that isolates bacteria, they use the coagulation property as a way to test drugs and other clinical materials for the presence of bacteria. First, they remove the blood from the horseshoe crab, then they break open the blood cells. Then they purify and freeze dry a chemical inside that's called limbus amebocyte lysate, also known as LAL. To test a sample for the presence of bacteria, researchers mix the sample with LAL and water. If the coagulation occurs, the sample contains bacteria. The FDA approved LAL as a standard test for the presence of bacterial endotoxins in 1983. Today, all injectable and intravenous drugs and prosthetic devices must undergo an LAL test before being administered to patients. LAL can also be used to diagnose diseases caused by bacteria such as spinal meningitis. And like any self-respecting aquarium, they had a great exhibit of lemurs. I'm kidding. Their newest exhibit is reef fish off the coast of Madagascar, and the camera does this no justice. These things were so bright and brilliant colored that it almost hurts your eyes to look at. I had a great time there.